Oh, yes, yes, yo, you don't stop. Big John come rocking a short shot. Welcome back. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It's the fastest freaking show in MLB, absolutely anywhere with your boy. With your boy, coming off the New York Knicks celebration. Let's freaking go! Though I got to admit, I'm a little bit more of a fair weather fan in my old age. When I was younger, I used to watch every game. So I think you still get to celebrate it because I've put in my time, but couldn't tell you I've watched more than, besides this playoff, I watched the entire run. 3 NBA games in the past 10 years, like Christmas Day, maybe it's on for a little bit. I don't have time for that shit. Baseball and football is it for us. Follow me up on Twitter at John Legeza Flow. Sharpening a damn razor. See the spelling down there. Laghezza. Follow me up on Substack as well. Same handle. Samples. Find out what all the fucking hubbub is about. Yep. We got 10 games today. Caught myself yesterday. Caught myself about to crash out. And it's too early for that. We had a rough week. And like we're getting killed. A lot of, down a little bit, down a little bit, down a little bit. But so many rough fucking bullpen runouts. And you don't want to say, oh, it's bad luck, it's bad beats. They're fucking coin flips at the end of games, but it's part of the cap, and we getting crushed by shit bullpens. Yesterday included St. Louis has a decided edge in the back end of games against the fucking Twins. Well, we're up by what? Fucking 2 runs, 6th inning. Well, we push it to extras. We're good, right? It's whatever. It's so fucking frustrating. Extras are 9th. Whatever. We fucking lost. Fucking bullshit. Ah! All right, not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do and freak out, man. 10 games, so we got a little bit of room today. Let's just do the fucking thing, Enough of that, right? Enough of that shit. More of this, man. Best part of waking up. Pitching sheets in the mug. Jay Bird, Sam, Adonis, Jeff L. Good to see everybody. Caleb, J Mean, and B.E. All the people. Yeah, Mariners killed it. Just, that's been the thing all week. Like I said, I don't want to become bitching. Oh, the world's against the... It's just, we were... Like, you don't have to ask me, right? You look at the live odds. There are other smarter people doing edge calculations on these things. And we're wild favorites at points of these games and just not able to slam the door. So we're still in the green for the season, but we're getting close to the fucking baseline. So then it's weird. This is what I was talking about. And this is for everybody. Every once in a while, I got to come down from the soapbox, right, where you can't see me anymore. I'm so short. Man, pros go through it, novices go through it, right? We're all the same a lot of times. All right, I got to tighten it up. So it's almost like it gets into less plays. Now, that's not why my volume's been down. I haven't liked the board. We've been clear about that. Also, I'm not big on Sundays. But it's just that, maybe that's me, but I know a lot of people do that, right? You tighten it up so you're kind of playing less, and you almost need to do the opposite. Like a lot of things in life, it's counterintuitive. And it's not to push minus EV bets, but it's to keep the process where, when were we doing well? When we have an open ticket, right? We're not over-levered. We're within 3.5% to 5% of total stack overall. Again, the nuance, and the context, the shit that matters, risk management really matters. Lots of people say, oh, you need a plan. They never actually tell you what the fucking plan is. Well, that's the plan, right? If you keep your daily risk allotment, tying units to overall stack, that will kind of mitigate the road to ruin and give you enough time for your probabilistic methodology to play out. Holy shit, promise you, we're not that smart, man. All right, let's get into the fucking board. Ryan Magusto on the bump for the mighty Marlins of Miami. Alliteration aside, they're very heavy underdogs. Plus 177 on the road on Broad Street to face Zachy Wheeler and the Fighting Phils. Man, Wheeler just hit the ground running. Second time he's done this. The first time was a couple years ago. Wasn't as seriously relayed of an injury. But it was a shoulder. He was behind schedule to start the year. You could look it up. It had to be 2 or 3 years ago. Me, I'm a vagina. I'm overly conservative. In fantasy, I totally got off of Wheeler when he was my 101 that year. He was my number one guy, which wasn't crazy. He was probably 6 overall, but he was my one. I got off him totally. He was 2 starts behind. It was awesome. So Zach Wheeler, something in the water in Philadelphia. Now, Gusto, 6 ERA, 144 whip, However, and I did a little bit of diving on this because, again, the sample is still really small. Not so much a gas can. I always thought of him as kind of replacement level, maybe a little bit better. And you could see that, only 5% walk, commanding the zone, really great ball and walk rates. Doesn't get a lot of swing and miss. We didn't expect that. But the CSW is good because, again, the command, even in the secondaries, is good. All the luck stuff is kind of crazy here. Now, granted, he hasn't given up a home run. He doesn't give up any fly balls. 93 zone contact, 54 left on base. That's what I was looking at. 54 left on base and 380 BABIP. Now, granted, the 93 zone contact does come into play here, right? That many balls in play will open you up to some rotten luck. That door also swings both ways when you got a lot of ground balls like he does. Now, they've been hard hit ground balls, but it feels like every single one of them has found outfield grass, especially with men on. So I just don't want people to jump the shark with gusto. Since we have a second, let's do a little hood pop. These are the times that I like to do it, where we have actual question marks on guys, where the sample just isn't big enough to really make hard determinations. So it's four-seamer first, 94 miles an hour, good spin, good extension. He actually gets decent whiffs on it. So we like the foundational pitch. Good vertical movement, right? He's got the IVB up over 18. The horizontal break is okay, right around the average, let's call it, not great. Backs up with a cutter. That looks like the contact pitch, I guess. I don't know. That's not a great pitch. Backed up with the changeup, which you like. He actually has a slider, 29 whiff, and a sweeper that gets big whiffs. The sweeper in particular has been hard to get a hold of. I think I'm kind of buying Gusto going forward. Again, not as SP1, but not gas can. I think people are going to be looking for the Phillies run line cover, and I think that might be bad chalk. Wheeler, it was that easy. He's the fucking man. He does every single thing you could ask for. And again, as he kind of hits his groove, you could see this getting better. Command, control, chase, ground balls, fucking everything you could ask for. On the offensive side, sorry, I'm going to go righty 2 weeks. I had him set up, but I refreshed my page. Sorry about that. Marlins have hit righties a little bit better than the Phillies. Funny to say because the Phillies have all the damn superstars. But they have a 30% strikeout rate last 2 weeks versus righty, 16 swing and strike, 34 chase, 78 zone contact. If Gusto gets to the secondaries, he may be dangerous in this one. Not like the Marlins have been great, and not like you can ask for a lot or anything against Wheeler. Phillies L7, just total trash. Their bullpen has been the saving grace, but the Marlins haven't been bad either. So I think I've got two angles here. I think, going up against Wheeler in this spot does feel tough, but anybody can get anybody, and we can kind of know that. I was trying to get a price on the F5. Hold on, sorry, I refreshed everything. I want a live price on the F5 run line. Anytime we're dealing with plus money, it's hard to avoid those. It's plus 118. And that's kind of yummy. If not, I think I'm under the total. Now, I'm seeing a 7.5, but it's also even money. If we can get to the under 8, minus 130 or better, which we can, I think that one's in play. I think that's in play also. So I'm going to mark both those down. I'm going to mark Miami, F5 run line. I'd feel better if they were really raking, which they're not, or if Wheeler was not like the perfect pitcher, but he is. I think I feel pretty good about the, under 8. And like I said, I'll give you the little bit of juice, especially we have the very heavy favorite, Phillies are minus 217 on the road, with the assumption being that we won't get that last frame. Next up, Mitch Spence is going for the Royals with cheese. Oh, man, they're in trouble when they're going to Mitch Spence. Royals kind of falling apart. The injuries stacking up, and the bullpen is in fucking shambles. And now, again, pitching Mitch Spence. I shouldn't have started burying him until I looked at the AAA stuff this year. Like, maybe he's really good in AAA, and we're expecting a bit of a bump on an improvement. No. 42 and 2/3 in AAA for Spence, 645, 654, excuse me, ERA, 138 whip. I mean, it's even worse, you're never getting strikeouts. He has command in the zone and does get ground balls, but he doesn't have any put away stuff. So when he misses, he gets beat up really bad. Washington, we know the offense is goated. By the way, they're minus 144 favorites at home with Andrew Alvarez going. I tend to like Alvarez. I think he'll improve as we get better. I want to see the track record for command and control coming up because that's been the main hang-up for Alvarez so far. 27-year-old lefty. 12th round pick, so not a lot of shine. Though I've been hearing a lot about him in prospect circles. Maybe it was just a promotion date. Because, again, I want to like him, but nothing's really crazy here. I do like the command and control, like we're mentioning. So guys that generally hang single-digit walk rates throughout the minors, we're expecting them to clean that up if it starts bad. Very heavy ground ball, like track record for in the mid-50s, which he's done this year. He really doesn't give up home runs. So that should play, pretty well in a ballpark like Washington where the balls do kind of fly out. Let's go under the hood for Alvarez also. I'm curious, when we get these guys where fork in the road type of deal, I don't want to just jump on, again, my priors of Alvarez good. Because, the Nats are awesome. The offense is hitting, so they're always a great pop for an over. We just want to know if we think the Royals are going to get to this guy at all. A lot of whiffs up there. Slider first for Alvarez. Now, he's had some misses, but he does have a 39 whiff on it. Back with a curveball, so he's really pitching backwards. That pitch is money, 226 X-slug, 34 whiff. So he's got a lot of big swing and miss here. If he could just command that sinker and throw it for strikes, I think he could be, good. That's the stuff you need, right? Strike, weak ground ball, or secondary look for the whiff. If you could throw it for strikes, then you get the cold stuff and the freeze. So Nats have the edge on the bump. Nats have the edge on offense. Alvarez is just through 24 and a third. The Sierra is pretty good, but again, the whip and the walks have not been. We love the ground ball rate. We love the swing and miss. Again, I think he's going to get better. So I guess it comes down to offense and what we think about the Royals. Let's check Royals' last 30 v lefties. Man, it's pretty damn bad. Sorry, that's offense overall. It was also pretty bad. Zooming into lefties for the Royals as I do my quick scan, which again, I support good people doing good work. If you've never listened to you only listen to the audio show and you've never done the video, check it out because you get to see how the tools work with the arguments, right? As you're arguing and thinking. I like to think if you set everything, right? Remember the leftmost column is game order. I set everything A to Z before I get started and then just work through everything. And it really will boost, I think, your ability to digest and make the best plays. Royals v lefties, it's not been good. The only thing they've done is hit for average, but the BABIP is through the roof. I guess they haven't struck out, but they're not taking walks, and they've done a little bit of chasing, which I think might help against Alvarez. And again, the Nats are just freaking awesome, Now, I guess the stuff versus righties has been weaker than we've expected because they've been so good. But again, all the underpinning stuff we love is still there. No swing and miss, lots of zone contact, pulled line drives and barrels and shit. One bullpen worse than the other, man. Hard to trust either of these as far as we can throw them. So if you like the Nats, I think you got to play it first 5. That's probably juiced. It's minus 145, and it is. No, sir, I don't like it. I guess I'm on the over, technically. Let me just get a price on that. I have a feeling, is it 9? And it is. It's 09N minus 118. More, no, sir, I don't like it. Royals are 4.5 plus 105. Nats are 4.5 minus 120. If I had to take one pick, that's my pick. Will just be Nats team total. In case Alvarez shoves or the Royals do what they do. We get our 5, and they only get the 4. I'd hate to push the 9. I think the Nats are carrying the heavier part of the load, and again, that's really reflected in all the modeling. Next up, Tobias Myers on the bump for the Let's Go Mets Go. He's plus 114 underdog on the road in Cincinnati to face C. Montgomery Burns. Excellent. Chase Burns on the bump for the Redlegs as a minus 137 favorite. I even thought I saw that money coming in on the Metsies. I would be wrong. It's minus 145 now. Shit, I would really like that. At minus 137 when I first saw that, I said, ooh, I like that. Okay, Myers has actually pitched pretty well. The 405 ERA is like a full run better than, let's go to half a run better than all the expected stuff. My indicator, which I like the best, which of course you get when you sign up for the Substack, is at 347. Again, he gets ahead. He doesn't walk anybody. Now, working up in the zone in Cincinnati is what worries me. I know Burns kind of does the same thing, but if you notice, his elevation bin is more slanted towards grounders. And of course, he has, almost twice the swing and miss that the bias has. He's 7 points of zone contact, 3.5 points of chase, Now, Burns, of course, has a sick left on base rate that's going to regress in the wrong direction. But he's the kind of guy that could keep it up because when he decides he's striking you out, he gets his way a lot of times. He's been fantastic at the crib. Myers has done his best pitching on the road, but I don't think we can realistically give him any kind of edge. Reds' offense has been disappointing, and I guess that's really the thing. I wanted to take a quick peek over to L7. If you noticed, I did a little flippy. It's pretty rotten also, so Reds' offense kind of meh. Mets' offense also, man, they're striking out like crazy. That's not going to help against a guy like Burns. Mets with a 292 OBP versus righties last 360 plate appearances. Reds not better, much better, though the disciplinary stuff with a similar K rate is still significantly better, right? And that's kind of filter queen stuff. Just taking K rate and making the comparison based on that. That's not how we do it. You get a really good chase rate, and I think that's going to help because that's not really Myers' game, and a lot of contact, which again, I got to give the Reds the edge here if it's a race to the bottom. Mets L7 hasn't been much better either. Jeez, these offenses fucking are whack. Now, the Reds' bullpen is always a major hang-up. I still think they win, but it worries you, and if we blow it late, Mets' bullpen has produced well, but look at the power metrics from the Mets. Last 58 and a third, 40 fly ball, 13 and a half barrel, and 11 home runs, 1 3/4 homer 9 last 2 weeks for the Mets bullpen. Home runs are a quick way to get, kind of F'd in the A. I still like the Reds to win. This is something I've been talking about with the blended bets, where I may not even blend it into the 140. I may not even blend that bitch. I may just go for the plus 150 where, I'm kind of leaning into the handicap. Myers struggles on the road. We get into the underbelly of the Mets bullpen. And even if the Reds give up a little bit late, we still have enough cushion to get there. Obviously, you could see Burns pitching a fucking gem. It's like the thing that he does. And Myers has been okay, but not great. And the Mets offense hasn't been great. Model's also kind of nudging me for an under. I don't like going under at this point of the year in Cincinnati. Right? You could see how, it's a hard 8. I wonder if that moves to 8.5. It's funny. MGM actually has an 8.5. It's minus 120. Believe it or not. I hate to fucking do it, man. But that's actually my play. I'm going to put them both and make a decision later on. My bet ticket will come from here, Because I think the Mets and the Reds play to under 8.5. Remember, Burns could carry that load anyway, where the Reds score, 5. This one's 5-2, and we're way under. Or I think the Reds cover. I actually think both of these could hit, but the pricing on the Reds cover was what I like so much. That number was, plus 150. Dude. Yeah, I love that fucking shit. Luke Giolito, Duke Nukem on the bump for the Friar Tucks. They're plus 123 underdogs on the road under the beautiful arch in Missouri to face St. Louis and Dustin May. Man, I got to take a monster L on Dustin May. I really thought he was ass, and he came out and gave up, 13 runs in the first 2 games. And I'm like, I am so smart, SMRT. And, yeah, he's been really great. Like, great to the point, they ended up writing this guy up on The Athletic. So, we believe in Dustin May. It's fucking real. some action going on in the Comex UNC. Good to see you. And Mark with the Spartan shout out.
What is your profession?
Damn fucking right. Let's get him, yo. Give the book nothing. Take from that bitch everything. Gotta like the Cardinals today, even though they disappointed the shit out of me. That was, oh my gosh, was that disappointing. Now, I want to bring up the bullpen. They didn't end up on the bullpen report, but it was kind of close. So O'Brien is rested, and that was why I didn't put it there. But Soriano, 3 of 4. Romero, 4 of 5. And Stanek, 2 of 3. I don't, like the Romero lefty thing kind of bothered me. They might go to Brule. I mean, he's been okay as of late. And like Graceffo's been good. They may go to him. So I thought if you were getting Brule, Graceffo, and O'Brien, maybe that's like viable. But I wanted to just put that out there. Again, nuance and context just dripping out of the nose hole. When you mess with us, kind of what we do, man. So I'm a little worried late again to see San Diego, Saint Diego and San Luis. That bullpen is awesome. It's just Giolito that I think we're trying to bully right here. Man, I'm gonna look on DraftKings. I said I was gonna stop doing this, but I really want a live line on the first 5 team total. Though, worth noting, Giolito's taken down on DK. So I'm actually going to back away from this. Worth keeping an eye on. Be careful. Now, when I was talking to Sauce and Toast on their show last Friday midnight, whatever, Thursday, the Friday at the stroke of midnight, whatever. The first minute of Friday, whatever. Okay. They were talking about a lot of people doing first 5 unders. And, I used to bet first 5 team totals, and when I got away from the overs because the pricing got so shitty, I kind of discarded the unders, and that's in play. And the reason I mention that is, if you look at the board, now I know it's going to sound a little bit intuitive, anyone that's under 2, like a der, but, right, and this is what we were talking about with the unders the other day, the percentage of games that are to the under that are not properly represented in the OU, right? And it's, if our mean is under 2, there's a lot of 1s and 0s bringing that bitch down. So this might be a pop for that. Worth looking at. I don't have that number. I can't. I'm worried about sacrificing the stream. But that might be my play right now. I'd be tempted to play St. Louis to win, but I'm not going to pay the minus 150. I'm not fucking doing that shit. So I'm going to put that one, just to remind myself, San Diego, first 5 team total, under, let's call it under 1.5. I would have to get better than minus 120. So even though I'm putting this, I don't see it. It's the play that it's a play that I like. And May's been awesome. You can see it up on the board. I should have left this up there. He's always had very good command and control, but now he's just getting the little bit of strikeouts that he needs. Just a little bit of chasing that he needs. You will get zone contact, but again, he's getting very good at commanding and hammering the lower third. Lots of very weak ground balls. He's been even going deep. He's been excellent, man. He's been excellent. Now, he's been a little bit better on the road than at home, but I don't think I'm too worried. It's not like St. Louis is this horrible place to pitch. It's the last 30 that I'm really looking at. 1 flat whip, 330 Sierra, and a 20.5 KBB for May. He's been freaking awesome. Meanwhile, Padres versus lefties last 2 weeks, total ass, batting 227 through 315 plate appearances, sub 300 OBP, sub 340 slug, 635 OPS. That ain't going to do it. No hard hit balls and some pretty shitty discipline to go with it. Too many ground balls on top. So I think that's the cherry. I think Dustin May shoves through 5. I'd kind of like that. I know that they're really frustrating. They really are. They're extremely frustrating. Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Because what happens, or what will eventually happen, is you're going to give up a walk and a home run, and you're going to lose a bet in the first 5 pitches, and you can't believe that you put your money on something like that. I'm only speaking for myself again. It's the worst. It's the fucking worst. I was looking for something deep down to like, do my thing, but no, man. That's fucking stone cold worst. All right, let's move on, man. San Diego to not score. Let's call it. Next up, Mike Paredes on the bump for the Twinks. Fuck you, Twins. They're on the road against Texas and my boy, Mackenzie Gore. I don't know how much money I'm going to lose on Mackenzie Gore this year. Let's see. He's been great at home. I shouldn't have challenged it on the road, but I feel like going back to the well again. They're minus 170 favorites, almost unpalatable. I don't know. Let's take a look. Paredes has been up and down, right? He's a perfect example of how pitching analysis in small samples is crazy. Somebody could easily say this person has a 5 1/4 Sierra, a 4.5 KBB, a 7 swinging strike, 22 CSW, 43 ball. And as I say that, I'm like, attack, get him, But a 267 expected ERA, 106 whip, right? Those are really good. Now, and also a 57 left on base, which is kind of crazy. I mean, a lot of fly balls, but they're not hard hit. I think eventually that's going to hurt him, right? Because he's feeding 93 into the zone with a bad four-seamer, and he throws it a lot, right? I talk about the four-seam bin. That's an attack metric on the four-seam bin. Too many low velo, poor fastballs, right, is attack. I don't know. I want to believe in Texas. I want to believe in Gore. What's the problem with Gore? I don't know. You watch him. He's so frustrating, man. I'm not going to do the frustrating thing again. He walks hitters that he shouldn't. 37 ball is good. 11% walk is not. He doesn't command the four-seamer up in the zone great. And that's why, the fly balls have gotten hit hard. Now he's been lucky on the homers also, which worries me that there's some, negative regression coming our way. He's had reverse splits against lefties. What the fuck, man? I really want to believe in him. Again, he's been great at home. The last 30 have not been good. Let's check out Twins versus lefties. They've been terrible, man. I got to go with my boy Gore. I really got to. Texas, very hard to back. They've been one of the worst offensive versus righties. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this is another one of those underplays. Right? Again, and it's not to chase the new thing. And I hope it doesn't come across that way. It's trying to be open to as many of these doorways and pathways as possible. And have the play reflect the analysis as closely as possible. And that felt like it worked. I do like Gore. I do think he's better at home. I do think he's going to be good in that building today. And I know I don't believe in some stupid reverse lefty splits. And the Twins have been ass against lefties, right? That's the part that we believe in. F the Twins. We don't believe that shit. But the Texas is really expensive, and we don't trust the offense. And Paredes has had some magic in his back. So that's where I think in the past I've made that mistake of telling myself, right, and it's not so, we're idiots, but I do joke that defaulting to the chalk favorite is a losing play. It is. It's a losing strategy in the long term. It is. So I'm trying to find, why is that? And I think that's why we now have the ability to bet crazy shit like F5 under team totals. So that, again, I think that's where I'm at. Let's check the bullpen, actually. The Texas bullpen has been freaking great also. And Gore could get it done. So I would say maybe it's a team total under, Twins team total under. I kind of like Texas, but I feel the same way I do about the Reds. It's a little too expensive. And I think if it goes right, I think it hits on the run line. That's another one. Where I've defaulted to money line plays, saying okay, and I think they're going to win. But even that doesn't fit it. If the narrative is, you have this guy in the mound that can be really, really great, lean into that, especially if there's a plus 150 on the other side. You could lower your risk, blend it with the favorite. A lot of ways to skid that cat without scratching his ass. All right, so let's get with that. Again, that's what I have the same. It's just like the, and I guess not the same as this Cincy one. So I have Minnesota team total under 1.5. Let's call this because I do see the 3.5. Let's go under 3.5, minus 130. Let's give Gore the ability to give up that 2-run homer and then settle in. That's something that Kyle was talking about. And I think he's right. And then I also think Texas covers at plus 150. So I think those are a little bit of a different way to go about a Texas win, right? Because all those things say the same thing. We think the Rangers are going to win. All right, let's move on. Michael Lorenzen on the bump for the Rocks. They're on the road against the Baby Bears, and Shota Imanaga, most honorable, on the bump for the Cubbies. They're minus 207. Another big, heavy fucking favorite here. Now, this one I do believe in, and I think we get the cover. The wind is blowing. Okay, this one I want to cover also. Let me be honest with my fucking Spartans, yeah. I actually had, I could bring it up again, I had a single-digit wind reading. That is, or I should say that normally does not call for the wind emoji. However, the total was up at 9.5, and the difference was the difference that wind would make. I had like 9, so maybe because of Wrigley, I actually just checked now, and Covers has it at 10. So the wind emoji is proper. Keep that in mind, and that's when I worry about Imanaga. Maybe I'm going to pump the brakes. I mean, I guess you could still feel confident that the Cubs win because Lorenzen is ass, and that bullpen is absolutely terrible. But also, Rocks moving to the road. I wonder if anybody said that. I usually hear some of that. The nose says Rangers home games tend to play under as well. Yeah, again, I love that. Right. You know what's funny? Because I always thought of that as like a really good hitting park, and it really has been. Yo, Stevie Stallings, good to see you, man. Morning to you too, guy. Appreciate some people that I really have noticed have just consistently supported the show. I appreciate always, man. It's not me.
This is Sparta!
If you motherfuckers can hang with this stuff, it says a lot about you. It really does. It says a lot about you. It says a lot about, man, it's a lot of good stuff, right? I think it says a lot about your sense of humor and your intellect and your willingness to be challenged, right? And kind of have something long form, mature, right? The patience to go through everything. So shout out to all you think about me. All right, let's move on. So I just did the donkey thing, which was default to the favorite, though I still do feel good about it because of the Colorado moving. When they come out of the altitude, right? That's a thing. I know that's a thing. I know it's a thing. It's a thing. So, like, Lorenzen is just terrible. How long is this going to be allowed to pitch in the major leagues? 7.54 ERA with a 1.9 whip. This is just crazy, right? This is crazy. The luck stuff has been bad, but you also make your own luck. 47 pull, 45 hard hit, almost double-digit barrel. Now, again, Imanaga has been on the wrong side of that also. He's pitched in some bad wind games. Let me bring up the Shota stuff really quick. Because I think it's all or none. And this is when I get worried. If that's the case, yeah, it's all or none. I mean, again, these home runs have all happened as of late. I mean, this is just crazy. Now, of course, at Colorado, he didn't give up a home run. But in the 4 starts before that, 12 homers in 21 innings. That's 5 home runs per night. Oh my gosh. That is the craziest thing I ever heard. That is the craziest thing I heard. That you said, what the hell, man? I know shit. So, like, this could be Homer Fest. But again, do you trust the Rockies on the road? And they have not hit lefties regardless. So I'd imagine their L7 stuff is ridiculous. It is. But the Rockies are the best team in the league right now. I mean, you got to be careful again with the altitude. Now, they're going to a good place to hit. It's not the altitude. And again, I've been very, very clear. Weather F's me. And right, we're in a weather change time of the season. And I'm scuffling. So that's something to be aware of. Just from a kind of meta standpoint. I don't know. How are the Cubbies doing, man? Everybody hits freaking Lorenzen. Cubs haven't hit for shit, though they are showing characteristics that we like, right? Cutting the chase, winning in zone, pulled fly balls. That's the beginning. Some extra base hits. Cubs have been very frustrated. They were great out of the box. Great. And it's been a little bit of a disaster I don't know. Rocky's bullpen is so bad. That was kind of why I was defaulting to the favorite. I think you can pair the Cubs to win. I really do. Other than that, what's the team total look like? The Cubs is probably something stupid. 5.5 at plus 110. I like the plus money, but I don't like the 6. I don't like the 6 being at home because I think we're not going to get the last frame. I mean, whatever. You don't have to bet everything. I guess there's a case to over the 9.5. Well, I'm curious if that went to 10. Like, how is the public treating that 9.5? It's no, they're not loving it because it's 09.5, but only plus 100. I wonder if that Rocky Road thing is for real. I don't know. Just leave this one on the floor. Next up, my boy Troy Iceman Melton on the bump for the Tigres. They are leaving Detroit Rock City, head down to the Lone Star State to face K. Wee Tang and the Astros. Astros minus 132. I've kind of liked both of these guys. I've got a case for an under here. I think that's where we're going. The bullpen's both pitching really well. Yeah, Detroit's bullpen has even been pitching well. They got Kenley back. And not like Kenley is freaking Mariano Rivera, but this is something I talk about in the Toast Show also. Maybe we've mentioned it here. That I think anytime you return a legit piece, or just a good piece, into a bullpen and it slots everybody down into proper roles, you kind of get payoff. That happens a lot, man. It really does happen all the fucking time. So, a reason for Detroit to be pitching well. That bullpen's been great. Astros bullpen, same thing with Hader. They were terrible. You could see the year-to-date stuff is gross. Astros would be the type of team that you want to look at the more recent stuff. I don't really model L14 bullpen, just to be clear. It doesn't test out. But you want to know, again, it's like the L7 for hitting. It's just a leading indicator to give you an idea if there's a reason for the season, right? A reason for the fucking change. So I'm under this BH. And I think this is a time where I would have been under the F5, right? Because I always kind of did that. Where now I think I want to be under the full game, especially if it's 8.5. I got distracted in the comments. Jamie says Dark Knight, top 5 movie all time. I'm not sure if I made a Dark Knight reference. I do know we need a fucking Dark Knight sound hit for sure. We do, because I mean, I know I make some loose references, right? If you're going to be really good at something, right, you shouldn't give it away for free. I mean, you could ask me how I got all these fucking scars if you'd like, but no shit, that movie rocks. That movie fucking rocks, man. Oh, that movie rocks. Hey, it feels like the last really great action movie, though. I gotta admit, I'm not really an action guy. And the little bit of TV I watch, it's with my wifey, so I wouldn't know. But if something else is great, shout me out in the comments. Let me know what to watch. So yeah, I think Detroit and Houston, after that little bit of a derail, let me bring up the Algo board so you can kind of digest this shit. I know I'm into the low scoring. Wow, the under 8.5 is also plus 100? Man, I'd love to get to the flat 9 if the price is fair. It's minus 140. I'm not going to go that far. Yeah, so Melton's been really good. He's probably due for a little bit of negative regression. I get it. And he's not a 281, 101 whip guy, but he's fucking hammered the zone, straight up throwing strikes, which we love. The velo is there, which we love. He's kept it down and kept it in the yard. I guess 5 homers in 25 is not great. Sorry, I'm going to take that back. However, right, if I could pick up my own mistake here, maybe pick up the staff. The 17% homer fly ball on a 37% fly ball, that is high. That's how I meant to frame it. Sorry. The heart rate is good. The barrel rate is good. I think Melton might actually might be getting better. Let's get under the hood for Melton. He's a fork in the road guy. Right, I want to know if we believe in him going forward or if we think it's fucking bullshit. So like I said, the velo is there. Really great extension. Now, he hasn't generated whiffs on the four-seamer. Maybe there's a little bit too much sink. It doesn't induce vertical break and not enough horizontal run. So it's a good but not great pitch. He's backing it up with pretty strong secondaries, though. Nothing really jumping off the page. But I love the contact suppression. Right, slider, this is X slug and whiff. 322/22. Cutter, 159/23. That's a really good pitch. I would probably throttle the four-seamer for a few more cutters if I could. And then he has a split finger that he's throwing to lefties, 21 whiff. So everything has a whiff floor. No real ceilings. Again, I'm believing it because he's always throwing strikes. So I don't want to overbuy on Melton. Let's do a quick flip. Houston offense v righties last 2 weeks has been really poor. I know because I bet on them and they fucking losing. Again, they're striking out a lot. They're chasing, losing in the zone. I think I like Melton in this spot. Same thing. We've been backing Kiwi Tang. I think he's been better than the indicators even. I love the 30 CSW. He gets all the cold stuff over and freezes guys. Can win in zone. He's gotten some strikeouts now. The 11% walk rate is a little bit worrisome. But you know where I'm going to go? A 37 ball. 37% ball is not going to yield 11% walk. That's not how this works. Leave the outputs to the filter queen and the chief jiggling officer, right? Leave it to those people. They're guessing. They're fucking guessing. Tang has got good stuff, man. You get ground balls. He's very hard to take out. Let's take a look at Tang and see if my love is misplaced. Because I've been seeing him as an automatic, like, yes, this is a guy we believe. That's why we love the analysis. Because once you build the muscle memory, then you know if you could just step on the fucking gas. Okay, I remember looking into Tang when I was doing some deep dive for The Athletic, and I just love the under the hood stuff. I love these guys that pitch backwards. He's confident in throwing the sweeper first. It's a ridiculous pitch. 279 X-lug, 31 whiff. Then, when he makes you look off speed, and then tries to put the four-seamer past you. For me, that's how you win with, it's, when I say low velo, it's 94. It's average velo. But it's not a great pitch. You know, good spin, good extension. You know, it's average. He gets the results because he's got the double-digit arm side run, so that's always another big kind of diagnostic box that I'm looking to check because I think that's how you get the whiffs. They haven't come. I think they will, especially with the spin, with the 9-mile-an-hour disparity down to the changeup. That pitch gets good whiffs. He also has a curveball. He throws to both-handed hitters. That pitch has a 39% whiff rate, 365 slug. There's a lot of really good stuff under the hood for Tang. And remember, we just tend to believe in the Astros. They have a track record of R&D. Look at the Yusei Kikuchi season. It's like the best case in point for it. He was pitching for the Angels and he looked like shit, right? Was it the Angels first? Mariners first? Somebody. The Astros pick him up midstream. I actually used that point as the thing in fantasy. Pick up Kikuchi now because they saw something they like and they're going to correct it. That was exactly what happened. So I'm running on a little bit long for a bit of a short sleep, but I think we're on the under here. Shop for the 8.5. But if not, we're definitely under the 8. I just don't really like to run to smash U8s at even money because I feel like, right, this is trailing price. I don't want to change it again. When a price is moving in your direction and you have a good and solid data-back confidence in going against it, you want to let it keep going. Let the fucking thing go, right? If someone is going to keep going against you, the price is going to keep moving. There's a really good chance that we're going to get under this 9 at regular money, and like that for me is a fucking mega smash. Next up, Warbit Urania's on the bump for the Halos. They're plus 109 dogs on the road in the desert to face Ryan Nelson, the Diamondbacks, and the Snakes with shapes in their back. They're favorites. I don't think Ryan Nelson should be a fucking favorite. And Arizona's on the report. Seawald 3 of 4, Ginkel 2 of 3, and Murillo back-to-back with high pitch counts on Murillo also. I think it's Murillo. I think I heard that. I have a tendency to go with the soft L. Anyway, that bullpen is already falling apart, and they might have utilization issues. Arizona should not be a favorite. I also think the 9 is a little bit low. We're modeled for the hard 9, meaning I think we get 4 plus 4 equals 9 easily. So I'm on the over. Seguro. Let me see if I want to check a real price. Again, the model is not gospel, and sometimes totals do go against us. I just always expect them not to. I'm looking at an 09. Oh, it's minus 120. So if you want to act on the O, you'll have to act now. Now, I wonder, since we like the underdog, what the team total looks like. It's 4.5, minus 105. I think I like that play. I think I like the Angels to hit their team total. Urania's been up and down, and there are cases to make against him. The command and control has been poor. There's also a bull case for him, and it's why the expected ERA is at 3.28. He's pumping gas. He even gets the cold stuff over, and then he's a ground ball machine, and we just know that will work for you sometime. Wondering about the home road splits. He's been better on the road than at home, but the last 30, it's been okay. It's like very blah. He really is very blah. Again, these kind of guys are going to be very bad driven. I don't trust Nelson. I don't think Nelson. I like Nelson coming in. Again, he's feeding the zone, but look at this. Who throws 57% four seamers? I don't care if it's a very good pitch. I don't care. You can't do that. People are sitting on it. And I tend to feel like that's what LA does, right? Angels, that's what they do. They get barrels. They're going to be aggressive and get barrels in zone and look to hit home runs and extra base hits. So I think they do just that. Astros offense has been kind of whack and right, too many ground balls, and they're striking out and kind of reaching. You can see where this goes bad. I'm sorry, I said Astros, and I said Astros, and I meant Diamondbacks. They haven't hit the ball well, sub 200 batting average. Last 2 weeks, offense has been bad. I mean, yeah, I think this is a misprice. I think the Angels win, but I have to decide if do we think they are going to win with fewer than 5 runs? Because, right, that Angels team total, right around even money. Again, it's not like they're this heavy dog. If the Angels were plus 160 or something, look at, it's actually plus 110 now. Money coming in on the Angels during the day. Yeah, so let's go with the Angels team total. We're gonna get the 9 frames. We got the weekend bullpen. We got Nelson feeding 4 seamers in a really good hitting environment. So 4.5 minus 105. I like that price. You know what I mean? I like the price on the team total. A lot of times those are minus 130. All right, who want what? This fucking kills me, yo. What bullshit. These stupid weather games are such fucking bullshit, yo. I don't know how to model this stuff. Don't take my word for any of this. I don't fucking know, man. I love Jared Jones. I think he's going to correct. It's been a little bit difficult. Let's get under the hood for Jared. He's one of my guys. Again, he's been on the struggle bus. And, listen, if you're in a fantasy league, you make an offer to buy low on Jared Jones. Got the big swing and miss, got the big CSW. The BABIP's been poor, and I guess the barrels have gone out. I don't know. I tend to think he's good. And I've been on JT Ginn this entire time, but we knew part of it was going to be pitching in Sacramento. His home run stuff reflects that, of course. 4.70 ERA at home, 1.99 ERA on the road, of course. So I don't know how to cap this because I think both of these guys could shove. I think Jones is more susceptible to the park because of the fly balls. Where Ginn's been a ground ball guy, I think Athletics win. A's offense is freaking on fire right now, but they've been playing on the moon. What, are they not on fire? Yeah, the L7 is crazy. They've been playing on the moon. Pirates v. righties. Mixed bag. It's been whack. They're taking walks and not chasing, so... they're identifying strikes. So again, I like Ginn. I'd want to be under this on a regular, whatever. This just makes me, visibly upset. I know, DFS people love these high totals and shit. I don't really care for them. I wish MLB was a little more uniformed. And not just my model, but, the whole thing would make more sense. We'd know more about these hitters and pitchers if they had more controlled environments. Even if I want a retractable roof. I think I've said before I want domes everywhere. I don't. I want retractable roofs because I do want to play outside, but I also don't want to lose games to the rain. And if somehow the Twins make the World Series, are they outside? Maybe they have a retractable roof. I don't know. I thought they were building a stadium outside. I was like, November, the ball's going to freeze on the way to home plate. Anyway, I'd want to be under, but I'm not. But I am. I don't know. Because, again, there's going to be 100 fucking degrees and the wind's blowing out. So even with the double taxation, you got representation. And I'm only at 9.5. Now, would we have a game yesterday? How many runs were scored yesterday? 300 runs scored yesterday. And I was under that one too. So I'm a big fat idiot. You know, that doesn't know anything. Rocky scored 23 runs. It's so stupid. Do we really want baseball with 23 runs? I don't. Though I'm looking at the box score now, and good for me because I have some best ball teams that had a lot of Rockies, and for the Rockies I fucked up on, which would be Beck and Doyle, I had a shit ton of Goodman and last round Castro, and he had like a ridiculous game yesterday. 7 ribbies with the grand fucking salami, whatever. It's so stupid. I'm under 10.5. However, what I mentioned before, I think is a scene. If you're going to be stupid enough to go under this game, you should allow it to go to 11. No one else is going to be stupid enough to go under. Only us. So let it go up to 11 and then go under. You're going to get the half a run, but I'm not betting that shit. All right, next up, Nicky Martinez on the bump for the Flat Fucking Fish of Florida. They're plus 135 dogs on the road against Eric Lauer and the Dodgers. And if you bet underdogs, here's your chance. I am not running to the window to smash this for one reason only, and it's not because I have sand in my box, though I do have sand in my box. Over the years, I have built like parameters, I don't know, order of operations, whatever you want to call them, human algorithmic thinking, right? Conditionals, if this, then this. And though the price is good enough to bet the Rays based on the difference in the total, I have found the opposite team, right? The favorite in this situation is modeled for over 2.5, where in this one, the Dodgers are modeled for quite a bit over that. I pump the brakes and look for another avenue. With that, always worth you got to check the prices, right? Bookie does not have it up. MGM does have it up. And they're kind of taxing the fuck out of us, right? So where the full game is plus 135, the first 5 for the Rays drops down to 115. So the run line drops down to minus 125. And all of a sudden I'm like, ugh. With that, if you're an underdog better, this is where you do it. These are all the good teams lose. They all fucking lose. When do they lose, in my opinion? When they don't have a pitching edge, right? And the Dodgers do not have the pitching edge. Lauer has not been good. Martinez is having a nice season. Now, he's kind of struggled. Let's check the 30s on these. Yeah, the L30 for Martinez has been whack. Where Lauer has produced, but I'm not really digging the underpinning stuff. See, that's what I mean. This is what I love about the model, right? So the model doesn't tell the future, but the model is like having a really smart friend without bias that's very good at doing math. It's just nudging you, right? When you're like, oh man, should we get Nick Martinez? And it's like, oh, well, you got to pump the brakes because he's still expected to give up quite a few runs. And the over is already really high, 09 minus 120. I'm out. I can tell you something I do feel really strongly about is anybody that's betting the Dodger run line, I think that's fucking donkey shit. I really do. And I think, maybe I could see pairing the Rays full game run line. It's minus 155, so that's right in that pairing range that we like. And that I feel good about, right? Where we could lose and still cash the bet, which you love that. Dodgers bullpen, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they were starting to struggle. They've been really bad the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, again, I like that. And the Rays, I'm not really feeling the Rays bullpen this year. They've let us down quite a few times. But the Dodgers opens up the area to get something late. My worry with the freaking Dodgers is the people that you have to face in those middle innings, right? They're not like your standard. It's not like your standard bullpen. Facing LA, the Brewers like that too, where the Brewers, you get the fucking whatever, the lefties, Ashby and shit. Now, Hernandez pitched yesterday. So did Dreyer. Yeah, again, I like the Rays run line. That's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put Tampa full game run line, in the show picture so people get an idea of the read. All right, that'll do it, y'all. I appreciate everybody so very much. Press the cartoon finger. It matters more than it should. Please, subscribe to the shit because it matters more than it should as well. Quick shot into the comments before we get out of here. Sam says he wished he drafted more. Goodman, were you along with our fantasy stuff? He was certainly a priority. He was absolutely a priority for us. That was one of the guys I'm sure about. I too early to take victory laps, but we're deep enough into the best ball season to say, like, I think if you were on the right path, right? You don't want to say, I figured it out or I solved it, but we were on the right path, and the right path was a lot of what I was saying. Forego, right? We were predicting lots of platooning, right? So we were predicting lots of platooning, which would create a lot of shortages for plate appearances late in underdog drafts. That we should probably fade a lot of the aces based on the 1v1 trade-off in exchange for what we perceived as true SP1s in the middle of the draft, namely Chris Sale and Jacob Misiorowski. Let's go. Damn right. Misiorowski should get the fucking double bell. So that was a really big hit. The thing I'm kicking myself over was my strat last year was stacking late Cardinals. All right. And it was a spectacular failure. Had you did it this year, I got a little bit of it. Like at the end, I was getting a little bit of Weatherholt. I think I even got a little bit of Jordan Walker. Not enough, but a little bit. And if that was and Ivan Herrera, I had him. He was certainly on our late my guy infield list. Oh, man, if those were your three last picks, first of all, they were all undrafted. Maybe Weatherholt was, but if you were pushing down to the third from the last draft, you fucking slayed the dragon. Because you planned for those offense, so you went offense heavy up front, stud, stud, stud. Then you overhaul pitching, stud, 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 and then go back to clean up the bats. Though, where I may have missed on the Cardinals this year, we had a lot of the late pitchers, right? Peyton Toll and Connolly Early and Parker Messick, Emerson Hancock. Hancock is kind of falling off a little bit. But for a late round pick to be the SP1 through fucking 6 weeks is awesome. So I pitch it because the fantasy football stuff is up. And here's what I'm finding. Your boy is not popular. Bottom line, we got to be real. I'm not popular. My football stuff is not popular. I could win awards. It's happened. I could get a national radio show. And you guys even know I'm hosting Fantasy Football Weekly on iHeartRadio every Friday. Nobody cares. And that's fine. I'm not looking for people to fucking jerk me off and throw roses at me. But I am kind of shocked that, like, I'm a nobody, right? So let's use that to our advantage. Because I'm still doing tons of work and consuming lots of content. So I have this is funny, where I hurt myself in baseball because we actually moved the needle in baseball, right? When I'm like, oh, yo, this is our guy. ADP moves. That doesn't happen in football. I could tweet crazy shit. Nobody cares. And that's fine. There are some stands that I have that will have, if you're rolling with me, right? That are completely against fucking the fantasy football intellectual dark web, is what I call them. Because nothing bad. I'm jealous, right? I like to be I'm upfront. I'm jealous. They're popular. I'm not. They have friends. I'm not. They do appearances. I don't. Right? They make money doing that shit, and I don't. That's fine. I get it. All good. But it doesn't mean we don't fucking win. It doesn't mean we're not smart enough to win. It doesn't mean we don't fucking deserve to win. So what I want to do, right, is the best way, this is like beating projections in baseball, is you don't have to subscribe to the projections, meaning think that they're 100% correct, so much as understand how they'll affect the market so you can properly plan against it. Kaboom. Couple out. Appreciate you all. Take it easy. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And a happy Manic Monday to you too. Good, sir. Appreciate everybody out there. You guys are the fucking best, yo. Just remember, when you work this hard, the winning feels a lot less like luck, yo. You know it.